Now I'm told that Rod and Darren, in fact, are going to be able to join us from sunny Montreal. And I will say this.
There we go.
Bill and Ted have nothing on you guys. The Rod and Darren excellent Montreal adventure has been in full force over the last few days. You've broken into the tennis stadium. You've broken into McGill University. The RCMP are on the hunt for you guys. And the Mafia's not impressed. I mean, what
Are you watching this?
What the heck is going on? You guys have taken over the city. It's unbelievable.
They've been very welcoming, and Lou has worked here many times professionally. Happy Monday, guys. And they're very nice to us. Yeah. And I know just enough French to get around, boys, and have for a long, long time. So it kind of feels like not home, of course. But listen, I want to give you a little tour. This is kind of a Letterman-esque skit, wouldn't you say? Right out front of the Bell Center?
Yeah, we're getting the 360.
Yeah, well, we got our dudes right over here, Sean Reynolds and Eric Engels. They're on the air live. You don't mind if I walk and talk, do you?
No, go ahead. Interesting content.
It's your show.
Oh, I know. Hey, look at this guy. Sean, give us a wave. Where is he? Right there. 100%. Look at these guys. They're in the shade. Yeah, I'm loving it too. Eric, they said they love my outfit. I don't got to worry about sweating in this thing like those guys. And Lou, you've been here, man. You know what it's like with these wonderful Yvon Cornway. Let me tell you a story about him. Dickie Moore, Jacques Plante, Doug Harvey, The Flower. You seen this?
Yeah.
So it's game day, boys. It's game day. And I guess if you're asking the vibe of Montreal, it's actually picking up. The last couple of days, it's been not good. They don't think that their team is going to come back and win this series. And I'm like, Lou, you know they know hockey in this town, right? But I'm like, you guys got to win one game. You can't win 4 tonight.
Rod, let me say this first. I've been very lucky and very blessed. There is nothing like hockey in Montreal for me personally. It is my favorite. There's nothing like it. And it's because it's way more than just hockey. So I think, and you guys would have gotten into this, the other day on the program, the two that you hosted, kind of for people who might be tuning in today, what has it been like to be in that city, which I've never had the experience of, during a Stanley Cup final?
Well, I think if the Habs had a chance, they would to win this thing. They'd be going off the chain and vibrating. And I wanted to be down here the other night for Game 3. There was 30,000 people in this area. You guys saw it on TV, but when Knuckles Nyland tells you to come to his house for supper to watch the game, you don't really say no, right? So
no.
I wasn't down here for that. But when we came back downtown from Knuckles' house, it was dead. And we were told that we were lucky that people weren't rioting. It just fizzled. So that was Friday night, Lou. And then Saturday, Sunday, as you know, Pete, that Habs logo is on most buildings 365, just in the windows of businesses, right?
Oh, yeah.
Every building has the Habs logo on it. Most of these skyscrapers are lit up in red, white, and blue. But that's it. You don't see people running around the streets with Habs gear on and yelling and stuff. They don't think they're going to win tonight. I heard a couple people say, it would be nice if they won so Tampa could win at home in front of their crowd. You probably saw what John Cooper said about that. He's like, no, we're ending it in Game 4. And then even Knuckles the other night, Nyland, he was like, well, we know we made it this far, but God, it's hard to go this far and then lose, right? So they're not that positive about tonight.
So what would the atmosphere over the weekend have been like compared to before Game 3? I mean, they were down 2 coming back from Tampa, but I got to think even then, the fact that they were coming home, there must have been a little bit of buzz. Now I'm starting to get the sense from you that there really isn't a whole lot of buzz because the locals feel like they're done, right?
It's the truth. And I'm not trying to be a downer. Believe me, this is 110 on game day.
Yeah.
That's right in front of the rink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing. There's
What
nothing.
more do I need? What more do I need? I'm telling you, would I lie to you? You guys are my boys.
Yeah.
So it's just the front cover of the Journal de Montreal today. The story was, do you believe in miracles? Well, in French, croyez-vous au miracle? And
Or Calera-Teal or something. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So it's well, not only that, but it's a bit of a downer. I mean, Lou, you know where the Chateau Champlain is. That's where we're staying. It's a block from the ring.
Oh, yeah. I know it well.
And all the staff there, because we've been doing our shows from there, they're like, we just got back to work on July 1st. We've been off for a year. So COVID's taken a major bite out of this town, too. So I'm happy to be here, happy to spend a night with Knuckles and our friends and so forth, and realize that a lot of people out here watch this show, guys. A lot of people. When I said that Habs fans are annoying, when I said Habs fans are annoying, they actually thought it was funny. They weren't mad, which is good.
Well, Rod, okay, so we have to know. Aside from, take the Knuckles and Island dinner out of the equation, because that probably, unless I'm wrong, of course, that would probably be a highlight for you. But what are some of the other things and trouble that you two degenerates have gotten into there that maybe some of it you don't want to share, but there's got to be a story or two that you do? Fire away. People want to know.
It's not like the old days, Rems.
No.
Everything that we did, everything was on video. So, breaking into McGill Stadium, which, as I said, the door was open. Technically, we didn't break into anything. Running around the field. Rogers Stadium, where the Rogers Cup is, was cool. Breaking into there. But people have just been overly nice. And to be honest, Luke comes from the NHL world. So this wouldn't surprise you. But just talking to the NHL personnel, they've been so kind and kind of welcoming us in, and realizing that the protocols the CFL's following and that the people are complaining about is absolutely no different than what the NHL players are following. It's very strict. They're keeping the players locked up. And as much as the players in the CFL think it sucks, this is the way it's going to be. The NHL's not going through anything different. I talked to Phil Pritchard yesterday, right? The keeper of the cup. And the first game he's going to attend is tonight because it's an elimination game. But he's like, I can't come down. I can't meet you for lunch. I can't go on your show because we're locked up. And that sucks. Yeah. These guys have been locked up for a year and a half. And I don't know what it is, Lou. The NHL clearly just wants us to see the games. They don't want the public to know what's going on behind the scenes. And that's cool. But since we've got to Montreal, we've kind of realized that this has not been a great life for NHL players or any pro athletes for the last 16, 17 months.
No, I would say this, Rod, that for players in the United States, as the season went on, they had a better feel than, the Canadian teams and what they had to go through, because going all the way back to the bubble, they're still in it. They've never been out of it, and all the testing, and it's daily. And in this series, you guys have talked about it, I'm sure. It's been a big adjustment for Tampa from where they were even in the last series. You come into Montreal, you're going to three places: the airport, your hotel, and the rink. And that is it. That is it. You don't pass go anywhere. And Montreal has been in that place forever. So, it's very different. And I don't know what your thoughts are, Rod, but I'll tell you what's really fascinating from someone in our business. Where do we go next with access? Does it stay more limited? Are we back in dressing rooms again? There's a lot of, if you're in this business, there's a lot of big things coming and big answers that we're going to get at some point. Like, even for myself, we didn't travel this year. We did the road games in studio, and I don't know that that's not going to continue.
Oh, I know. Well, the big one I think about is the access, because as you know, the teams don't like the media to begin with. So if they have an opportunity to stay on Zoom, they'll probably do that. And that's what I'm expecting. As far as the travel, that's why I don't really miss it. Look at us. My God, we got to come out here and do 2 shows. Bob's your uncle. This is the greatest thing in the world. But talking about coming into Montreal, I just don't want to leave this point on John Cooper, the coach of the Lightning, with, I don't know who would have asked this question. It's the dumbest question ever. Do you actually want to lose Game 4 so you can go home and win on Game 5? And in that article, if you read it, it was from the Canadian Press, the Canadian government would not allow friends and family of the Lightning to come to the game here in Montreal. That was a government decision, right? So if they do win tonight, they're not going to be celebrating, and they're going to be celebrating in front of 3,500 Habs fans. So that's another thing where I guess normally in an elimination game in the Stanley Cup, there'd be family members here to watch it, and that's not going to be the case. And I just think what a dumb question to ask Coach John Cooper. And incidentally, if he wanted to lose to go home and win in Game 5 or 7, they're not in a position to win the Stanley Cup because that's a loser attitude. But that's just my take on that.
Well, and to take it one step further, Rod, I would suspect that if you're on the Tampa Bay Lightning and you're into this thing for as many days as you've been with exactly what you and Peter have just talked about, the quarantine, the 2 tests a day, rapid tests, and the life that they have lived outside of the games. Do you really think that you would spend 10 more minutes in this than you would absolutely have to? I mean, and you're right, Rod. I mean, even if the answer was, yeah, it would be kind of fun to win at home, which, trust me, at this point, they don't care. They just want this thing over with and win.
Right.
What's he gonna say? You know what? You bring up a great point. I think it would probably be in everybody's best interest to fill the building in Tampa again, just because we just love this whole quarantine thing so much that it would be so much fun to win in front of our hometown fans. Our kids and families can wait. I mean, oh my goodness. But anyway, you know what? It is what it is. I just feel we're going to leave you with this, Rod. And I know you don't want a pity party, and I know you're having a great time. But I do feel bad for you guys because think of how much fun that would have been if they would have won Game 3 or any of the games. And tonight's game was perceived by the locals as maybe meaning a little bit more. It would have changed your whole experience, but I guess that's the hand you're dealt. So what are you going to do? It's too bad, though.
Well, I thought about it earlier on Friday before Game 3. I'm like, if they win and they have a chance on Monday night to tie up the series 2-2, we got to stay. Like, we had a chance to go to the game tonight. But with what it is now, look, we've been with a lot of Montreal people, born and bred Montrealers, and they're talking about rioting, I'm sorry to say, tonight after the game, that there will be riots. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? What's wrong with you? And they just laugh and say, well, we're nuts. Yeah. Like making no apologies whatsoever for the rioting in Montreal. And it happened the other night when they beat Vegas, a week ago or whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I'm okay getting out of here if that's the way that it's going to go down.
Yeah, well, the people that are doing that kind of stuff, if that in fact is what ends up happening, they're not the hockey fans, they're hooligans. Let's call it what it is. The true Montreal Canadian fans, they're not doing that kind of stuff. We're up against the break. I'm being told you know what it's like when Clark's screaming at you? We're up against the break. Actually, he's not screaming, but we are up against the break. Hey, Rod, thanks for taking the time to join Peter and I here today. Looks like despite the circumstances, you're still making the best of it and having some fun. And we'll see you soon, my friend.
We always do. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time. Thanks for helping out, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
It's been great.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.